What is a general support system? How do you put that in a system security plan? What the hell am I talking about? You're going to find out in the next 5 minutes. Okay. So before I start, you should know my name is Bruce. I've been doing this for a very long time. My specialty is actually NIST 800, but I know many other frameworks and I can walk you through them. If you're interested in learning more about this kind of stuff, GRC type stuff, link in description, link in bio, tons of free stuff, all kinds of downloadables. Let's get into this. Okay, so let me show you what a general support system is. Now, this is, first of all, this is coming from a question that I got from Josh, who says, thank you for the wealth of knowledge. I appreciate that. He says, currently working as an information security officer, and a project requires that we do a system security plan for a data center. And it's, is this typical of a risk management framework process? Is this typically how it goes? I thought risk management frameworks for systems was for systems within the data center. And how would we approach a system security plan for this? Okay, so yeah, I can totally answer this question. So to answer your question, so there's many different types of systems that you would do a system security plan for, and the risk management framework is flexible enough that it can do all of them. So some of the major types is just a system, just a regular system. Regular system would be like a couple computers or something like that. A system is typically centered around a function. That means like a business or mission function. Like you have a certain business of tracking satellites in space or something. The system there's a ground-based system and it's tracking, and there's a database and there's a front end for operators to see the satellites being tracked across the earth. The system would contain the actual desktop system, the actual ground station that's tracking the satellites, and maybe even the satellites themselves. All of those would be considered the same system. And that can be the same thing for weapon systems, business systems, mission systems, intel systems. They all have some sort of a function, and all the computers around them are part of that one system. So that's one of the things that binds them all together, is the function of that system, the operations of it. So there's many kinds. There's major applications, and that's just what it sounds like. It's an application that's either a government furnished system, like the government actually created it, or the organization actually wrote that actual software, and then all the data and all the mission is done on that software. So you can actually upload that software to any system, any server, or whatever. And so in that case, you would do a risk management framework on that major application. And then you have minor applications. Usually minor applications don't have a full-blown risk management frameworks process around them. A lot of times they are part of a total system. They're not usually, but I've seen some processes where they'll do like a kind of like a mini authority to operate, where they'll make sure that those small minor applications are up to date, or whatever that needs to be done with those minor applications. So you got major applications, you got minor applications, and then you've got subsystems, and they're just small systems that are doing something. Typically, they'll be connected with another system that's a subsystem, and that subsystem can have a risk management framework process. And so for those who you don't know, what is a risk management framework process? It's a process that allows the organization to control the security and track the security of a system. That's what it is in a nutshell. I mean, it could go through all the steps and phases that you need to do that, but that's essentially what it's doing, is guiding the organization through a process that makes sure that the security posture maintains a certain amount, and it goes through the life cycle of that system. Let me show you the last system. So we talk about minor, major systems, and a subsystem. Now let's talk about general support systems. So that is getting an entire floor of computers, or a data center would be consider a general support system. A general support system usually is a bunch of subsystems that are on it. And let me just give you a visual representation of this. That's the best way to show you like what it really is. And this is coming out of, I believe this is coming out of NIST 800 18. And so this right here is a good example of a subset of a general support system. And this might be something. This is more of a complex one right here. You see, all of this right here is the boundary of the general support system. Everything within this boundary is what is going to go through the risk management framework process. And you might have subsystems in here, and you might have one system that has a high impact, like a completely different, like it has classified information on it. And you might have one that has a moderate, and maybe even one that has a low. And they are all interconnected, and they're all on the same floor, but they're all considered part of the same general support system. And in this case, what you would do is you would document what's going on with all of these. So you, first of all, for the data center, you describe what the data center is supporting. And that would be the first. It'd be a data center in Dayton, Ohio, and it is supporting Southwest Asia or something like that, or whatever. And you would describe that in the first part of the system security plan. And then this next part, you would break down the purpose of it. You break down, and eventually you get to the meat of it, which is the boundary. You describe the boundary of it. You'd have a network diagram maybe, and then maybe what you'd have is all of the hardware and software and maybe even firmware that's in a separate appendix that breaks down everything in the data center. So that right there would encompass the whole boundary of it. Would describe and explain everything that's within the boundary of that data center, and that would be a general support system. So it can be done, and actually it is designed to do just that. It's flexible enough. The risk management framework, NIST 800, is flexible enough to where it can do just a small application, a major application, a subsystem, or a general support system, which could actually be, it can be all around the world. You can have a system you have one in Portugal and one in Mexico and one in South Texas, so, and that could all be one boundary, and you just have to explain what's going on. So the answer is yes, you absolutely can do a general support system and a risk management framework process for a data center, and that's how you do it. If you want more information on how to do this kind of stuff, risk management framework for a NIST 800, you can join our group. There's tons of downloadables. There's free courses. All of that is in the NIST 800. All of that is going to be described in the NIST 800. If you want more training on that, come to me. Come to join our group. It's free. The like button is also free, by the way. The notification button is also free. Hit that button. Join me. Join us every Saturday. All over the place. We do lives all the time. You can talk directly to me. This is just a short one, but I go for like an hour talking to different people, jumping on the call. And also, if you want to join the community, if you want to get discounts and downloadables and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be in below, link in description. It's going to be convocourses.net. And I will see you guys on